Yet another breaking news coming in, viewers. U.S. President Donald Trump demands that President Isaac Herzog immediately pardon Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump even tells Channel 12 in a phone interview that Herzog must give Netanyahu a pardon today. He says he doesn't want Netanyahu to be bothered by any issue other than the war with Iran. The U.S. president even calls Herzog a disgrace, claiming he has raised the matter with the Israeli president for a year and that Herzog promised him 5 times that he would pardon Netanyahu. Now, responding to Trump, President Isaac Herzog's office says that he is not dealing with the pardon request during the war with Iran and that the president will decide without pressures of any kind. Well, yes, U.S. President Donald Trump demands that President Isaac Herzog immediately pardon Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump tells Channel 12 in a phone interview that Herzog must give Netanyahu a pardon today itself. He says that he doesn't want him to be bothered by any other issue than the war with Iran. And the U.S. president even calls Herzog a disgrace, claiming that he's raised the matter with the Israeli president for a year and that Herzog promised him 5 times that he would indeed pardon Netanyahu. But President Isaac Herzog's office now says that he's not dealing with the pardon request during the war with Iran and that he will take the decision without any pressure. Now, for more on this, joining us live from Washington, D.C. is Dov Joachim. He was the former Undersecretary of Defense in George W. Bush administration and currently the senior advisor at Center for Strategic and International Studies. Dov, welcome to WION World is One.
Thank you.
Dov, now the Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi has directly addressed U.S. President Donald Trump, and it's more like a warning because he writes on social media platform X that, I quote him here, Plan A for a clean, rapid military victory has failed, Mr. President. Your Plan B will be an even bigger failure. He concluded by saying the chance for a unique deal was burned during the latest round of negotiations and that Israel first always means America last. These are some heavy statements. Does this reflect that Iran is well prepared no matter how the war unfolds?
Well, I think the Iranians are on their last legs, as it were. They're in a corner. And actually, it's not really accurate to say the Iranians, because we know that there's a significant percentage, maybe more than half, maybe even as much as 70% of Iranians don't want this war, but don't want the regime either. This war is being prosecuted essentially by the IRGC. I can see on your screen you're saying what I'm saying. It's taking total control. It's had total control from the first day. And so all these threats about retaliation and about not cutting any kind of deal, these are pretty empty threats. The IRGC is in no position to threaten anybody. It's losing missile launchers on a daily basis. Its drones are being shot down. Its leadership is being cut off and killed. After all said and done, Ayatollah Khamenei was, in a sense, the leader of the IRGC. And so their leadership is in trouble. Their command and control is in trouble. I don't even know if they have command and control, in a sense. And I think that's one of the reasons they're firing at everybody and anybody, because they really don't know what to do anymore. So what the foreign minister said is, it reminds me of the days when before Saddam Hussein fell in fact, not even that war, the first Gulf War in 1991, where, of course, the spokesman for the Iraqi government said that the United States was nowhere near Iraq, and in fact, we were already inside Baghdad. These are just empty threats.
Well, Dov, as you highlighted the regime in Iran, President Trump says the U.S. must be involved in selecting Iran's next leader after the supreme leader's death. Now, based on past U.S. experience, what usually happens when Washington is seen as trying to pick political winners inside another state?
It hasn't been a very good record. After all said and done, the Iranians probably remember Mossadegh. Of course, yes, we got rid of Saddam, but then we had a civil war before things may have settled down, and they haven't completely settled down because you still have Iranian proxies inside Iraq. The same with Gaddafi. We got rid of Gaddafi, and you still have a Libyan civil war. So, getting involved in regime change like this, at least historically, has not worked out very, very well at all. Um, but, what Mr. Trump is really saying is he doesn't want the son of Khamenei to take over. There are reports, Australia's Sky News, for instance, 2 days ago, reported that the younger Khamenei actually has already become supreme leader. There are other reports that he has, yet there are reports that he's being the leading candidate and hasn't yet been appointed. Again, it's so chaotic in Tehran right now that it's very hard to know exactly what's what.
Yes, Toby, you just mentioned Khamenei's son. By publicly rejecting Mojtaba Khamenei as unacceptable, does the U.S. now risk unifying Iran's elite against outside pressure?
Well, again, I mean, the Iranians aren't going to take easily to any determination by any outside power as to who their leader should be. Certainly, the IRGC, which is close to the younger Khamenei, would probably prefer him. Then there, of course, as your screen just showed, Larijani, who's Ali Larijani, who's very, very powerful and influential, also has good contacts with the IRGC. The IRGC, by the way, may choose one of its own. They're the power broker, at least for now, and we'll see whom they really want to have as supreme leader. Remember, Ali Khamenei, the late supreme leader, wasn't really a religious, a top religious figure. He was a politician. And so the politics may be even more important than the religious fanaticism.
Yes, Stav, now if we look into another dimension of this war entirely, EU foreign policy chief, she says Middle East chaos flows from the erosion of international law. We also have reports that the Iranian vessel Iris Dana is now under the purview and control of Sri Lanka president, and the President Dissanayake has said Sri Lanka is not a party to the ongoing war in West Asia, that the country is neutral. However, if US and Israel fail to do so, he has added that there is no point in having international agreements and conventions. So in that regard, from inside the Pentagon, how much does international law actually constrain decision-making once a war reaches this intensity? And can major powers increasingly act outside legal frameworks?
Well, you've heard Defense or War Secretary Mr. Pete Hegseth pretty much say that we're going to do what we have to do. And quite frankly, that's always been the case with war. There are rules that at least Western militaries follow. We don't go out of our way, and neither do any of the Western powers, to maximize collateral damage, that is to say, to kill civilians. We're not like Putin, who aims at apartment buildings or tries to freeze people out. We don't do that. If there is collateral damage, and there always is, we try to deal with it in a way that literally minimizes it. And so to say that there are no rules, I wouldn't say that. And quite frankly, if you want to talk about who's not following the rules, look at the Iranians. Why are they targeting countries that want to be neutral? Why are they targeting civilians all over the Gulf? Why did they send a drone over Turkey, for goodness sake? Or attack? It was. It's where her. It's for national. And one has to look at the actual record. What we, the United States, are doing in terms of going after civilians, which is zero. We don't go after civilians, and what the Iranians are doing.
Well, Dov, this conflict has even turned into a numbers game. There are reportedly low-cost Iranian drones versus expensive US and Israeli interceptors. Was US air defense doctrine ever designed for this level of sustained attrition? If interceptor shortages deepen further, what will be the US stance?
Well, according to our leading generals, General Kane, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, we are okay. And I actually heard uh, the Undersecretary of War for Policy, he was on the record, so I can quote him, Elbridge Colby, who said, we've got enough to both fight this war and continue to deter our enemies elsewhere. And so we're going to keep on ramping up our munitions. There are meetings going on with the leading manufacturers to make sure that we can get as much as we can. And you have to remember that once the United States really gears up for a war, an intense war effort to get those munitions out, we're going to get them out faster than anyone else. That's always been our record. And so I'm not worried about a shortage of munitions. I think the IRGC probably has to worry a lot more than we do. And we've already seen that the level of missile attacks has been diminishing. They're simply running out of missiles.
Thank you, Dov, for making time for us. It's a pleasure having you here.
Always good to be with you. Thank you.